Hi, my name's Ian Holdich. I'm the charge nurse on Carlton Colby ward at Lincoln County Hospital. From a young age, I wanted to become a nurse. One of the reasons being was I was admitted to hospital when I was 7 for an appendectomy, and there was a male nurse on the ward at that point. The male nurse on the ward made all the children feel quite safe, and he was very well respected, and he had an aura about him that made me want to be like him, I suppose. So that was always an ambition. We had nurses in the family as well. I didn't do too well at school. I left school with only 2 GCSEs to my name, so I didn't do very well at school. I messed about a bit and was a bit of a lad. But yes, I still wanted to become a nurse. The hospital at that point wasn't in a trust, it was Lincoln and Louth hospitals, and they used to run a YTS scheme. Now that's going back quite a number of years. They used to run a YTS scheme, and I saw it was in the local paper that they were taking on for the YTS scheme. So I applied, and luckily I got in, paid £29.50 a week at that point on the YTS scheme. But yeah, I then was working on at St George's Hospital, which is sadly no more. I worked on Highcombe ward, which was care of the elderly ward. I did quite well. I did quite well. What I didn't learn at that point is that I could talk to people. That was one of my main drivers, that I could communicate quite well. And like I say, I did quite well and was offered a job as an old style nursing auxiliary at the age of 17. And that was on the radiotherapy department at St George's Hospital. I stayed doing that for about 7 years, earning money, and thought it was great. But then obviously the thing of still wanting to become a nurse was still in the background. So what I did, I went off to college and did a couple more GCSEs at night school. It was hard work, but I've managed to pass them, maths and English, which enabled me to then go and do a couple of A-levels as well. So obviously this drove me, because I wanted to become a nurse, this drove me to be able to want to complete these, to complete the A-levels. I completed my A-levels, and which then enabled me to apply to do my nurse training. In the background, I did complete an MVQ level 3 as well, which the trust paid for me to do at the time. Now, I did my nurse training in 2004, and obviously I came out at that point with an advanced diploma, because at that point we were under Nottingham University and they weren't offering a degree level nurse training. So I qualified in 2007 and went to work on MEAU and was a staff nurse on MEAU for 5 years, and learned a hell of a lot, because at that point it was EAU and not MEAU. So we took surgical patients, we took medical patients, urology patients, we took up everything. So you learn a lot about things, but not a massive amount about a certain thing. So we did. I did that, and within that time also, the trust paid for me to do the Foundations in Emergency Care and Practice, which was a degree module at Lincoln University. I also did evidence-based practice as well, and math-supported learning in practice, which enabled me to then, if I wanted to go for promotions to band 6 level, which I did. I was offered a secondment on Avonby ward, which at that point was cardiorespiratory. The secondment lasted for 6 months, but I must have done something right, because I was offered then to stay. So I stayed as a band 6 on Avonby ward for 2 years, often deputising on there as well. It was at that point in my career, you tend to split. You either go into management of people, or you go into the more clinical side of things, so become specialist nurses, or you go into the management of people. Now, I did enjoy the people management. I never thought I'd enjoy that, but I did. which led to me to think about going for a Band 7, which is obviously charge nurse sister post. Now, Band 7 post came available on Ashby Ward, which is a neuro rehab ward, which I applied for, and I was successful in that post. I was in that post for 2 years. Within that post, we developed Ashby Ward quite a lot. I also managed to win the leadership award for United Lincolnshire Hospitals whilst in that post. Then an opportunity arose on Carlton Colby Ward to take a short secondment on Carlton Colby Ward, as they hadn't had a manager for a number of months on there. So I took the decision via the head of nursing to move to Carlton Colby Ward. Now, that ward proved to be a lot more of a challenge, and eventually the job became permanent on Carlton Colby Ward, and I've been there ever since. We have, since being on Carlton Colby Ward, we have staffing has improved immensely. We've managed to arrange the acuity to the staffing. We are just about to take on a further 4 Band 6s to provide Band 6 leadership throughout the shift patterns on Carlton Colby Ward. We've also taken local initiatives on Carlton Colby Ward. At present, we're concentrating on tissue viability on Carlton Colby Ward, where we are implementing device-related checklists. We're doing a lot of education, a lot of education around tissue viability. We do specialist treatments on Carlton Colby Ward, which is non-invasive ventilation, which is, other than intensive care, is the only place in the hospital which does provide that level of treatment. We also provide a lot of tracheostomy care as well, which is we're, other than Clayton Ward and Ashby Ward, we're the only ward within the hospital that takes medical patients with tracheostomies. Regarding furthering my career, at the minute I am quite happy sat where I am. Eventually I will move. We will move on. I don't know where yet. Like I say, I'm quite happy. I don't know whether I will eventually go into the clinical side of things and become a specialist nurse. I am unsure on what to do, or whether, if a matron's post becomes available in the future, whether I will apply for that or not, or whether to look at something totally different and look into the commissioning groups and things like that. I'm unsure. Like I say, I'm happy working in the trust at the minute, and happy where I am. So I will stay on Carlton Colby for the near future.